So I really like Notion. I think I've said that a few times here on this channel already. I already have some videos about some Notion templates that are completely free. If you want to check those videos out, I'll put them somewhere up above me. But I really like Notion. The only issue I had with Notion when I first started using it was the lack of a good budgeting template. I couldn't find one that worked for me, or especially I couldn't find one that mimicked a software app that I use called YNAB, which is a $15 a month subscription. And I was really wanting to cut down on my subscriptions. So I wanted to find a way to replace it. And I think I did that. So we're going to go over two different Notion budget templates that I created, and they will be available for you guys to use. You can just duplicate the template and use it on your own. But yeah, this is just going to be a quick video about these budget templates that I created, and I hope that you guys find as much value in them as I have so far. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. All right, so let's get straight into the free Notion templates that I have available for you guys in the description down below, and it's on screen now. So this is what I'm calling the finance tracker. It is more simple than the paid budget that I will be going over here in a minute. But a quick rundown on this and a quick tutorial is all of your accounts are going to be stored right here. All of your checking, credit, whatever account it may be, loans, savings, you name it, it's all going to be in this list. Each of these is their own page, so you can see when you first download the template, you'll have to filter by the account name. So you'll just have to click on this, and then you will have to filter, and then I have it filtered by name. And then you just have to type in the name of your account, whatever you name it. This changes for every single person, so that's why these aren't named for you. But you just have to update this filter, which is right in here, and you just have to update it to whatever you name your account. Your inflow and outflow for that account will show up right here, and you will see like your checking account one. Once it is filtered, it'll just show you your account balance here. And all that is laid out right here for you. Moving on, you have your Money Hub, which is going to show your credit accounts and your debit accounts. Your credit accounts are your credit cards and loans. And then your debit accounts is just your cash, savings, and your checking accounts. Furthermore, on your dashboards, you have a calendar, which is going to show you when your bills are due. It'll basically what it's doing is just pulling from the expense sources database, which is right here. You can see that this one's a bill, this one's a subscription, but they both show up on this calendar, and we will get into that a little bit more. But just so you know, the free one does have a calendar to keep track of how much money you need for what bill and on what day. Moving on from there, we have our income and expenses. This is all going to be tracked within the money tracker, but it's pretty simple. Whenever you get a payday, you'll just enter it here. You'd enter the date that you get paid, whether or not it's income expense. Because we are in the income, this would always be income. You'll choose your income source, which is listed right here, and this will be in the income and expense sources database inside this dashboard. And then you will choose what account it's going to, and then the inflow for that account. So inflow, of course, is income. Outflow is expense. So down here, you'll see it say outflow. That just means expense. Inflow is income. And then with expenses, you just put in basically what your expense is, the date. Then you'll choose the expense source. So I only have rent and YouTube Premium listed down here, but if you had a category like groceries, then maybe the name of this would be Walmart, and then the expense source would be groceries, if that makes sense. And then you choose what account that you used to pull money out of. So in this instance, I'm using checking account one, and I spent $500, so it pulled $500 from here. And you can see that I have a total balance of $985 in that account now. And that's after adding all this and then subtracting this. So moving on back to covering the income and expense sources, all you have to do is just add new. If you have a different income source, just click on new, and then you give it a tag of job, side hustle, or whether or not it's a gift. I have gift covered for you just with this gifts. You can rename this to whatever you want. And then otherwise the income, this is where you could tie it from here if you forget to tie it when you do this. But other than that, the expense sources is going to be the most important part. You can always add new right here. It'll give you the option for a due date, the type, whether it's bills, needs, wants, credit card payment, subscription, so on. It'll give you an option for the monthly cost, and then a checkbox on whether or not it was paid. And then this expense just pulls from this list right here, where you can just add your, when you add your expenses, just choose obviously your expense source, and it'll automatically update this for you. But moving back into Money Tracker, like I said, this just ties in the income and, or the inflow and outflow, which is right here. This is just the full view of it. This is the database home basically, and then this is just linked views of that database. And then income and expense sources, this is where you can kind of manage your bills, manage your income, stuff like that. So if you have bills, you can view it just as bills, just as subscriptions, or just as wants as needs, such as like groceries, gas, that sort of thing. Moving on from this though, you'll see a bunch of buttons up here in the top left. Like I said earlier in the intro with Notion, I couldn't find a good budgeting template that worked well for me, and it's because Notion is cumulative. It keeps everything, like all the pages it wants to hold on to. So what I did is in this start a new month, so this just goes on a monthly basis, and you'll just follow this. So take the debit balance dollar amount, make that your starting balance. So this is my current balance right here. So I would erase this 500 and move this 985 into my starting balance. If this was, going into a new month, right now it's May. So let's say it's June 1st. I'm going through my budget. That's what I would do on June 1st. And then I would take the credit balance amount and make that my starting balance. So if I made, let's say I made a $250 credit card payment here, then my credit balance would only be 250 instead of 500. So then I'd update it. In this instance, I don't have anything to update, so I just leave that alone. And then back to where I was talking about how Notion accumulates all the different pages. This is actually where you delete pages, and it, clears out basically your entire last month. So it is an issue where if you want to track, your spending over the course of a year and look back on previous months, this isn't something that can do that for you, nor can the paid version. A software such as YNAB can do that for you, or Excel if you are comfortable using all the formulas. But for the people that want to use Notion for budgeting like I do, just so that I have everything in one place, you do, with my setup at least, you have to delete kind of all your last month's data. But it's kind of nice because it helps keep everything more clean and it doesn't clutter everything as bad. And me personally, I like to delete as many pages as I can in Notion that aren't, really important to me. So what you do is click the select all box, it's right here, and then you just hit delete. That'll erase pretty much everything from the last month, all your inflow, outflow, income, expenses. And then down here, you'll just update your bills for the new month. So you change the due date from May to June, for example. So that's what starting a new month would be. Whenever a new month does hit, you have to do this. Transferring money between accounts. This just gives you your transfer from account and your transfer to account. So if I wanted to transfer $100 from here, I would subtract $100 from here, make this 400, and then I would make this 200 down here. Pretty self-explanatory. And then making a credit card or loan payment. This just gives you those income and expense views, but you can just specifically do it to go from account to a checking account, or to a credit account, sorry. And then outside of that, the template tutorial, this video that you're watching right now will be found in there. I also have a written walkthrough on the paid version, which we will go ahead and get into now. I believe I covered this. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just enter your income sources, your expense sources, and then as you make transactions throughout the month, you just add them here, whether it's income or expense, and then your account balances are all kept track up here. As long as you are accurately tracking your inflow and outflow, all this will be, obviously up to date and whatnot. And it's a good finance tracker, and it's also free. So again, link for this one down in the description. But for those of you that want to get into something a little bit more robust, something more like YNAB, let's go ahead and jump into that right now. All right, so here we are with the Notion budget template. This is the paid version of the finance tracker that I just showed you. So a lot of it will be very similar, but there is a big difference that we'll go over here soon. So start a new month, transfer money between accounts, make a credit card loan payment, all the exact same. If you want to see me go over these, it is about a minute. If you go back 1 minute from this point, you will see me go over these. Otherwise, let's get into what is different. So for starters, right here, the bills are completely different. So you'll have a bill here. You'll just give it a name. You can give it the type of bill that it is. Obviously, you can give it its due date. You can give it the monthly cost. Let's say it's 50. And then this is where it really differs between the finance tracker and the Notion budget, is this assigned dollar amount. And then you will also see this assignable dollar amount. So right up here, you can see that this checking account number 1 has $500 in it available. And you can see checking account number 2 has $100 available in it, making up this $600 available to assign. So this is $50. This bill is $50. I want to assign $50 to it. So we'll assign $50. And then you can see that I have a payment available of $50 right here. So now that the $50 is assigned, we are just waiting on this activity. This activity is 0 because I haven't made any payments toward this. I haven't made an actual transaction towards this. All I've done is assign some money to it. So what we'll do is we'll go here. We'll just say this is our bill. This is adding an expense, by the way. We can open this up. We'll select checking account 1. Our payee, we don't have any in there right now. This is basically just whoever you spend money at, different businesses, that sort of thing. That way you can keep track per business where your money is going, if that makes sense. This is going towards new bill. This is this bill right here. And this is an outflow of $50 because we are paying the full 50. And we'll make the date today. So there you go. The $50 is now spent. You can see activity now is lit up to where there's $50 spent. And now there's no money available for a payment. And what you would do is you'd pretty much just go through here, create all your bills. You'd have a list of all your bills that you have. Add them all into this list. You'd assign the money based on what you can from your accounts up here. And then as you make payments on your accounts or on your bills throughout the month, when you create the expense, you link it to a bill and then mark that bill off as paid. So that's the quick down and dirty of what's different between the Notion budget and the finance tracker. The Notion budget lets you assign money and gives you a little bit better tracking as to exactly where your money is going. It also kind of splits this up a little bit better. As far as the payees tab, this is completely different from what was on Finance Tracker. Again, this is just the businesses where you spend money at. You can give it a tag as far as whether it's bills, wants, subscription needs, or a credit card payment. And then whenever you spend money on this payee, the money tracker will then display here. So you can see Walmart was for that last bill. So it displays it all together. So this bill was to Walmart, that is our payee. And then you can have infinite number of payees. So it can be like your spouse, it can be any sort of store, any sort of restaurant, a gas station, whatever it is, that's your payee name, and then the bill that it's covering, if it's covering a bill at all. Otherwise, it'll just go in the wants and needs category, which you can see right here. So sometimes you'll include a bill, sometimes you won't, just like in the finance tracker. Because obviously not always is our money going towards bills. Sometimes it's towards, other stuff as well. But you still want to be able to track that money leaving your account. So if you ever go buy yourself clothes and you don't want to associate that to a bill, then you just add a expense and just leave the bill unmarked, but the payee you can still put in, whatever store you went to, for example. So that's the big difference between the paid and the free version. If you think you would benefit more from the paid, go ahead and check it out. It definitely helps me out. Otherwise, I think the free version should cover 99% of your bases, 99% of the time. I really just prefer this paid version just because I purposefully set it up to mimic a software called YNAB, which I have talked about plenty of times before, but it is $15 a month for that service. And sometimes people just don't want to pay subscriptions. I think we live in a world now where there's too many subscriptions, yada, yada, yada. So this is built to mimic YNAB, but without the subscription. Cool. Thank you for checking out the video. This video will be, of course, viewable in the template tutorials. If you have any further questions about these templates, questions, comments, concerns, anything, please leave them in the comments, whether on Gumroad or on this video. I will be sure to check in regularly and see if there's anything new. And any questions I can answer, or if you guys find any issues, I would of course love to fix them. So let me know, and thank you for watching. Alrighty, so there you have it. Those are my two Notion budget templates. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I hope you guys find as much value out of them as I have. I personally love using Notion for just about everything in my life, and budgeting is a huge aspect in my life, especially when I'm trying to become debt-free. So hopefully this video helped you. If you have any further questions about these templates, just comment down below, or I think on Gumroad, if you leave comments on there, I see those as well. So links for these templates will be in the description, so check it out there, and will see you guys in the next video. Bye.